Hey everybody, I have a video here for you today. This was suggested to me that this might be a good topic, and I have to agree. I've tried to bring you as many different things coming down to us from ancient Egypt, and most of what we have today to go on was what was inscribed in stone on temple and tomb walls, and it kind of comes from a strictly historical or royal perspective, and there just isn't a lot of everyday cultural things that have come down. I might be doing some future uploads of some personal stories that have come down from ancient Egypt of everyday life, but this is openculture.com. I will leave the link below, and this is entitled the Turin Erotic Papyrus and is claimed to be the oldest known depiction of human sexuality, coming from about 3,150 years ago. And this is what the Turin Erotic Papyrus looks like. It was originally discovered in Deir el-Medina, in the Valley of the Kings, in the workers' village, where the people who quarried out the tombs and where the artists lived that decorated the tomb walls lived. That's where it was originally discovered, and then it was kind of rediscovered in the Egyptian Museum in Turin, Italy. And I think I will just read. It says, with the old joke about every generation thinking they invented sex, this verse brings us the papyrus above, the oldest depiction of sex on record. Painted sometime in the Ramesside period between 1292 and 1075 BCE, the fragments above, called the Turin Erotic Papyrus because of their discovery in the Egyptian Museum of Turin, Italy, only hint at the frank versions of ancient sex they depict. The number of sexual positions the papyrus illustrates, 12 in all, fall somewhere between impressively acrobatic and unnervingly ambitious, one even involving a chariot. Giddy up. It says, apart from its obvious fertility symbols, writes archaeology blog Ancient Peoples, the papyrus also has a humorous and/or satirical purpose, and probably a male audience, evidenced perhaps by its resemblance to 70s porn. The men are mostly unkempt, unshaven, and balding, whereas the women are the ideal of beauty in Egypt. It says, in fact, the erotic portion of the papyrus was only made public in the 1970s. Egyptologists have known of the larger scroll, technically called Papyrus Turin 55001, since the 1820s. On the right side of the papyrus, animals perform various human tasks as musicians, soldiers, and artisans. The artist meant this piece to a satire, ancient people alleges. Like ancient Roman and Greek satirical art, the animals may represent supposed archetypal aspects of the artists and tradesmen shown here. All very interesting, but of course the real interest in the Papyrus Turin 55001 is of the prurient variety. Going on here, it says Egyptology student Carolyn Seawright points us toward the rather lurid History Channel segment on the erotic papyrus above, which calls the pictures full-on pornography and one of the most shocking sets of images in the whole of antiquity. And that is obviously overblown, History Channel. Against a perception of ancient Egyptians as buttoned up and repressed, the video and Seawright detail the ways in which the culture reveled in the stylized ritual sexuality quite different from our own limited north. It says sacred temple prostitutes held a privileged position, and mythological narratives incorporated unbiased descriptions of homosexuality and transgenderism. Ancient Egyptians even expected to have sex after death, attaching fabricated organs to their mummies. The above applies mainly to a certain class of Egyptian. As archaeologist David O'Connor points out, the Turin Erotic Papyrus' high artistic merit marks it as within the province of an elite owner and audience. And you can find more detailed images from a link I will leave below. But this is some of the depictions in the Turin Erotic Papyrus. Obviously on the left there you see a scene in a chariot. Obviously these men depicted themselves as very well endowed, and the women were made to be depicted as obviously rather large. And here is a lotus flower, the symbol of fertility, next to this woman's head here. I guess I can't go into this too graphically, but here are some more depictions. Obviously, these men depicted themselves as highly skillful and extremely well endowed, just as men today would want themselves depicted. So a lot hasn't changed in 3,000 years as the way men wanted to, I guess, record themselves and their sexual prowess. But I just thought I'd bring you this. Hope you thought this was interesting. This is the Turin Erotic Papyrus. I will leave links below. You have a nice day.